After his altercation with Shen Luohan, Shen Wulong decides to switch consciousness with the tiger, effectively putting him in the back seat of their body, while the tiger takes control. The tiger, now in control, calls Xia Yan and tells him that he needs to do a job for the dragon. Next, we see the tiger in a public bathroom, looking at himself in a mirror. Observing his appearance, he tells Wulong, who is now a voice in his head, that his fashion choice seems a bit conservative, so he decides to shop for some clothes now that they're back in Japan. Sometime later, we see the tiger walking through the streets in Japan. He tells Wulong that they are now blending in perfectly in the crowd, now that they've changed clothes. However, Wulong says he doesn't like the pattern on the shirt, which makes the tiger realize that they both don't share the same taste, despite having the same jeans. Now that they've changed clothes, the tiger decides to get some accessories. Wulong suggests that he should go and get a watch, to which the tiger responds that that's a great idea. Having acquired the watch, the tiger comments that both he and Wulong at least have the same taste when it comes to watches. The tiger then admits that he also happens to like watches, to which Wulong asks why. The tiger explains that time is the equalizer that flows the same for the strong and the weak. He also states that now, both his and Wulong objectives are to resist the flow of time itself, asking Wulong if the mere thought of that gives him chills. The tiger then realizes that he went off on a tangent and explains why he actually likes watches. He states that they come in handy when you need to know the time for your meetups. The scene then shifts to Ohma, Ryuki, and Narashima Joji, all sitting in a restaurant. Noticing Shen's arrival, Ohma and Ryuki greet him. Ohma then tells him that he ran into Narashima on the way, who said that he really needed a drink, so they started without him. Ryuki chimes in, stating that Yamashita and Koga are running a bit late, and asks Shen if he changed his wardrobe. Meanwhile, Narashima gulps down a glass of beer and suddenly asks, "Who are you?" to the man in front of him. Ohma jokingly asks Joji if he's already drunk, while Ryuki tells him that it's Shen Wulong, who looks a bit different now that he's changed his style. However, the tiger is left impressed by Narashima's keen observation. Meanwhile, Yamashita and Koga are hurrying to get to the meeting as quickly as possible. When they arrive, they find only Narashima sitting at the table. Yamashita asks Joji if the others haven't arrived yet, while Koga warns his uncle not to overdo it with the beer or his wife will scratch him again. Narashima explains that the others had something to take care of, so they can start without them. The scene shifts to a rooftop entrance, where Ryuki and the tiger are sparring. After blocking Ryuki's air-bending technique, the tiger says he can feel the pain and impact of the strike, admitting that it feels wonderful. Having spent so long in the back seat of Shen Wulong's body, he finally gets a taste of what it's like to fight, and he says it feels spectacular. Ryuki admits he didn't expect the gap in strength to be this large. Ohma offers to tag in, but Ryuki refuses, saying he's not going to give up so easily, and that he'll end this fight himself. Rewinding to a little earlier, the tiger notices that Narashima picked up on the change. He reveals that he's not actually the Shen Wulong they all know. He says it might be confusing since they don't have a name for him, so they can just call him Hushen, the name of an old friend he decided to borrow. Ohma realizes this must be Shen's other half, known as the tiger, while Ryuki asks what happened to the real Shen Wulong. Hushen reassures them that Wulong is safe and that he has Wulong's permission to come out. He explains that his ego didn't surface until a few days ago, and reveals he's been watching them through Wulong's eyes the whole time. He then asks Ohma and Ryuki to follow him somewhere. At the start of the spar, he told them that if they could beat him in a fight, he'd give up on taking their bodies. Back in the present, Ryuki charges forward, unleashing a flurry of blows at Hushen. Hushen backs away, but Ryuki sweeps his leg, knocking him off balance, and follows with a powerful kick. Hushen manages to block and quickly recovers to his feet. Hushen remarks that Ryuki has gotten a lot stronger since the last time they met. He suddenly starts loosening the joints in his arms, and guesses that Ryuki must have unlocked his innate potential. Ryuki taunts him, declaring he's not going to give up his body to anyone. Suddenly, Hushen rushes in, his attack moving in an odd trajectory. Ryuki blocks, but Hushen doesn't let up, unleashing a barrage of strikes that forces Ryuki to stay on the defensive. Observing his movements, Ohma notices that the trajectory of Hushen's strikes bends because of his loosened joints, using the same principle as the Nico-style swimming swallow. However, Ohma also senses something off. As Ryuki falls to the floor, Hushen realized that they've figured out that this version of him is far weaker than his other counterpart. He explains that it's due to Wulong being in the driver's seat their entire lives. Even though he has all of Wulong's memories and knowledge, his own muscular control is sloppy, to which he admits that controlling the body is not easy. Ryuki knows he'll never get a chance like this again, so he decides he has to act now, before Hushen gets used to his body. Hushen advances, throwing multiple strikes, while Ryuki endures and waits patiently, as he baits him, hoping to bring the fight down to the wire. They both rush in, as Ryuki declares that he has to end this now. He launches a strike, but Hushen intercepts with one of his own. Ryuki ducks the blow and counters, landing the Geo style, unpinning. But Hushen spins with the punch's momentum, and barely takes any damage. He quickly recovers and compliments Ryuki's strength. Ohma calls out, telling Ryuki to tag him in and get some rest. Looking back at the exchange, Ryuki knows he wasn't being careless, yet Hushen still struck him with perfect timing. Now, he watches, curious to see how Ohma will fare against him. Ohma immediately rushes in and throws a punch, but Hushen dodges and retaliates, as Ohma does the same, with both men exchanging blows back and forth. During the exchange, Ohma realizes that he can go toe-to-toe with Hushen at his current level, and notices that he is far weaker than Wulong. Hushen throws another punch, but Ohma swiftly dodges and counters with a Nico-style adamantine and flame kata, flashing steel smash. The strike connects, but Hushen recovers instantly and rushes back in, catching Ohma off guard. He returns the favor, landing a powerful blow. Ohma blocks, but realizes that Hushen just copied his flashing steel smash. He wonders if Hushen learned it after being hit once, but Hushen denies it, and explains that he simply used a similar technique from his memory bank, a collection woven over generations, covering every martial art from all times and places. Hushen compliments Ohma, calling him brilliant, and says he can feel Ohma's strength resonating through his body. He urges Ohma to continue so he can push himself to greater heights. But Ohma stands still. He tells Hushen they should end this fight for today because he doesn't want to beat him as he is now. Ryuki is shocked to hear this, while Hushen asks why he'd give up the chance without knowing if another will come. Ohma calmly replies that he knows the consequences of his choice, and points out that Hushen was getting stronger as they fought. Judging by his rapid growth, Ohma predicts that next time they fight Hushen, he'll become a monster like Wulong. Ryuki, confused, asks why Ohma would throw away their advantage if he understands the risk. Hushen agrees with Ryuki, saying Ohma has a decent chance of beating him now, so why make things harder for himself? Ohma answers that he's seen how strong Shen Wulong truly is, and it shook him to his core. But it also made him think, realizing that he wants to overcome Wulong at his peak. Beating a weakened version wouldn't feel right. Hushen is taken aback, but then grins and calls Ohma a fighting maniac. He admits that Ohma makes him happy, seeing how great his counterpart truly is. Then he swears that the next time they meet, he'll be as powerful as the dragon.